my dominant emotions are here. I have like a little bit of like biting anxiety of like wanting to finish.
Yeah.
But also just being thankful that I've even been able to get this far.
Yeah.
Just because, like, running owes you nothing. My body is janky as all fuck. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Running on Cape Cod, Massachusetts and beyond. I'm Julianna, your host. Welcome back. And this week we have an episode where it's just me. Hello. We're reporting live again from Julianna's at-home studio. It's very fancy here. The shooting monster is here. Anyone who didn't see this on the social media, my social media and the Runner social media, my aunt made a shooting monster quilted like stuffed animal for us, and isn't it just so cute? I love it so much. We named it Chewy, so this is Chewy. Chewy's going to be joining us, so look throughout all the upcoming videos to see if you can spot Chewy in one of the back of videos. But what we're going to be talking about today is the fact that I ran my first ever ultramarathon, you guys, and my review of the race itself. So I'm so excited to be doing this. This is going to be my first initial review and talking through my ultramarathon experience. And then we're also going to be having Ben, famous of the Benjamin Ben, who is going to come on and interview me in the studio about what it was like to run my first ever trail ultramarathon. And I know that Ben is going to have a lot of questions that I'm going to forget to ask and answer and all these things. So I have a strong feeling that the episodes are going to be different enough where you're going to want to listen to both of them. This one is going to just be my initial response to running a trail ultramarathon that I ran, which is my first ever ultramarathon distance I've ever done in my entire life. And then also my review of the Watuppa trail race and what I thought about that, and if I think that you too should run one of their races. So let's dive on in to my review of my first ultra marathon. So where to start out? I think we got to start out where I even started thinking about running this race, and also like why I'm trail running, because like I've really only been trail running for like maybe like 10-12 months now at this point, like last September, because I was talking to Ben, and at this point we were still working together at the running shoe store, and I was like, we should go running together, and Ben was like, okay. And so we ran together once on the roads, and Ben was like, next time we run together it's going to be on the trails. And I had been like flirting with the idea of like doing some kind of trail running, but I wasn't like really sure if I wanted to do it, and I was also terrified, absolutely fucking terrified of falling. And I was like, okay, maybe if I do it with someone, I won't be as terrified. And I also would really like to run with Ben, because Ben is like my preferred running buddy. And I knew that Ben and I had known each other like 6 months at that point. And Ben is just one of the people in my life where he showed up, and in my brain, he's just always been there. And it's weird to think that he hasn't been there. And it's just like, oh yeah, Ben's there. Ben and I started running together. It didn't take much to get me out into the trails. I think I fell like on our second or first run. I can't remember. I kept falling. But it's been a progression of me getting up to running trails. And now I've been running trails like by myself on trails that I don't really know that well. I'm like, ooh, who is this girl? I don't know her. And so we got up to that point, and then I was really toying. I've been toying with the idea of running an ultramarathon for a long time, and I've kind of done that. Like, I've done the Chowder Challenge, which is the Cape Cod Marathon's kind of like dopey challenge, if you know what that is, where you do the half marathon on Saturday and the full marathon on Sunday, and I've done that twice. So like I've kind of delved into that a little bit, and I do like doing things like that. And my schedule is such now where it permits me to be able to do some of that longer mileage training, which I genuinely really enjoy. It was kind of like the trail piece was the part where I was kind of breaking myself in still. And I was like, you know what? Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. I've run the major marathons, and a lot of them. And anyone who's run the major marathons, like including like Boston, Chicago, like Tokyo, you know that you are a race that's like kind of logistically a little bit odd. If you're running 26.2 miles, you're usually doing a minimum of like 28 total for the day, because of all the walking to and from the starting line, whatever. And so I was like, you know what? I think I can do a 50K. And so I signed up last fall for the Watuppa 50K, which is in New Bedford, Massachusetts. I did it. I finished my very first ultramarathon, and I actually finished first for the ladies for the 50K distance. Thank you so much. Oh, it's upside down. There we go. Okay, fabulous. There we go. Anyone who's listening on the audio side, I'm holding up a stump of a tree. That was my trophy for winning the 50K. I also, on top of it, have the rock that got stuck in my shoe, and I hot glued it to the top of my trophy, so my trophy is complete. Not only did I finish a 50K, but I won the 50K outright for the ladies. So first lady overall to finish the 50K, which is just so wild to me and so crazy. The whole experience has just been great overall. Like, training for an ultramarathon is not easy, and a lot of you probably could have guessed that. And it's very time consuming. But I'm someone who, like, over the years, definitely since at least I've started marathon training back in like 2018, I'm someone who really enjoys the training side of things, and you definitely have to be someone who wants to run ultramarathons, because so much of your time is spent on training. The race itself, whether you're running an ultra or a regular race, generally speaking, is only like 5% of everything that you're doing. It's the cherry on top, you know, of what your training is. And it's kind of like a little bonus. And for me, I really love the actual like training that goes behind an ultramarathon. And so I definitely really relished in this, and I've been training so hard. Like, I've been doing like 80-mile weeks for the last month, which is crazy because I never even planned to I exceeded the training level that I set out for myself. I've been going to the gym twice a week. I've been doing PT at home. I have been going to massage and acupuncture. Like, I've been like putting in the time and the work. I feel very happy about that. But let's talk about the actual ultramarathon like day experience itself. So I was nervous. Recently, what I've started doing because of my GI issues, go back and watch the last episode of Runna if you would like to hear more about that. I have irritable bowel disease with constipation. I've kind of switched over to like a liquid / like really soft foods diet the day before a marathon, only with like nothing irritable in my system. So that way, because usually what happens is I have to take at least like one shit stop, you know? And if there's things that are solid in your body, it just kind of hurts. So it's better to be taking the liquid shit versus the solid, like hurt, painful shit. So we lean in that direction because I know my body has told me over the last like 8 years that this is what is going to happen, and it almost every time consistently does. And this time it did, but I was ready, you know, I was prepared. I switched over to that. So I did like my liquid diet stuff the day before, and I was nervous. I was getting my stuff together, and I got to bed early. I got up at like 5 a.m. The New Bedford Watuppa reservation is about an hour from where I live. And so got in my car, drove the hour, got there on time, was able to pick up my number. From a race review standpoint, this race was very well run. And not the best on like communication pre-race, but it is like a much lower budget race. It is a trail race, and generally speaking, they're a little bit lower interaction, lower production value kind of events, because there are people who are running them are a lot more chill. People who are showing up for them are a lot more chill. It's a little bit more like backyard event than it is actual like big production like the Boston Marathon, generally speaking, for trail races that I've been to and been part of and like been privy to. Kind of fit exactly along the lines that I was looking for. I was looking for something chill, something that would be a good entry starting point for me as someone who's looking to get into the 50K distance. And it was absolutely perfect for this. Like, the course was just challenging enough. The course was like just easy enough, like logistically and like terrain speaking. It was a good mix of like really very wide, for the most part, trails that, because it had rained the whole day before, which was a little bit nerve-wracking to me, but I actually felt okay about the weather because I had trained through everything in New England. Like, the whole entire like fall, winter, spring, I have trained. I didn't do any long runs on the treadmill. And I think like literally 99, I think I did like 3 treadmill runs the entire winter, and I ran every single day. So I was out in the shit, and I have the gear. I have the gear, and I felt prepared in my gear and in my prep and everything. I was like, I can do this. I've run in worse. There's no way it can be any worse than half of the runs that I already had. And like, I got this. I have the gear. So I felt okay about the rain, which is great. And so the trails at the Watuppa Reservation were very wide. It was kind of, the whole course was like a mix of, I would say, like fire roads, a little bit of like a concrete road, a lot of just like grass road areas. There wasn't a ton of like giant rocks or anything, which was kind of nice. Not like a ton of like super rooty areas, which was kind of nice. It was a really, really, really good starting point for someone who wants to enter the trail running scene. And they do offer a 10K, a 30K, and a 50K. So if you wanted to really just like dip your toes into trail running and run the 10K, then you could definitely do this and it would be super accessible. I think it would be a fabulous entry point into your 10K trail running experience. And everyone was so kind when we showed up. We got shirts. You get a shirt when you show up. Anyone who ran the 50K and I believe the 30K got a medal. If you won, you also got your stump, if you won, which is very exciting. And I picked up my number and the lovely people there gave me my number. I was number 508, which is fun because that used to be my home area code for when I was growing up for my phone number. So that's a fun time. It was just a nice time, well organized. They waited for everyone to finish at the porta potties because maybe there was like 200 of us total. A very smaller, low-key race, very well marked, extremely well marked. Like I'd never even I'm like orientationally challenged, For me, it's not likely it's very likely that I am going to get lost at some point. And I almost got lost at 26 Point True, but I did not. The lady corrected me. That was definitely way more confusing than this race. And this race was just so well marked. It was a super fun to run course. It had enough elevation, enough variation in terrain. It was a little bit of single track, mostly wider trails. Ben and I had the conversation that this would be a fabulous trail race because they allow it as well to take his dog Finn to, that some of you have probably seen us running with Finn, the little tiny dog, which is great. Yeah, it was just a very well-run race. I would highly recommend this race to someone who's looking to get into trail running in any capacity and is like somewhere close to New Bedford. It was really great. Again, we got the shirts. I think it was like $45 to enter the 50K. So fabulous. They had really great aid stations. They actually had an aid station almost every like 2 miles pretty much, because they had one at the start and then there was one aid station that you crossed, the path crossed, and you crossed it twice. So for a 10K loop, that was pretty crazy. And it is a 10K loop. So I was doing 5 loops of the 10K loop as the 50K. And it was almost exactly a 10K, which again, unheard of in the trail scene. Absolutely fabulous. We love it. I showed up to the starting line. I had my new friend Andy, who was running the 10K, and he was going to pace me through the first 10K. And then I had gotten a surprise text message from Benjamin the night before saying that he and my friend, his fiance, Nicole, was going to come and cheer. And I was like, yay, because I'm in the zone where I don't ask people to come to races to watch me. I've learned that that's not a move that benefits me, because the people who I ask a lot of the time have and do show up, like just kind of begrudgingly. They don't really want to be there. And that attitude really just trickles into my race day, and I don't need that. So if you are there already and you're excited to be there, I'm so happy to chat with you. It's a great time. Or if you yourself choose to be there and actually want to be there, that's fantastic. So I had asked Ben like a while back, I was like, do you want to pace me? He's like, I don't know. I was like, okay, great. If you want to, you can show up. It's all good. I'm not going to rely on it and I'm not going to count on it, but if it's an added bonus if you do. And so Ben decided the night before, which is very typical Ben fashion, that he and Nicole were going to show up and she was going to cheer and he was going to run with me, which I know probably is a nice time for Nicole, because Nicole does not like running as much as Ben does, but I like running as much as Ben does. But Nicole likes Ben more than I do. So it works out that she takes all of the other stuff for the fiance side of things, and then I take the running stuff. And I like to talk, and Ben also was actually talking to me. We unlocked a new level of friendship, my friends, this time. It was a nice time. So I show up. I had known that Ben was going to show up somewhere between my second and third loop, and he was going to jump in on my third loop, which was great. And so Andy and I start, and Andy is a newer friend. Shout out to Andy. We had a nice time running and talking. It was great. I met him at 26 Point True and already convinced him to run a race with me, which is fantastic. We love that. Inclusion in the running scene. And the first 10K loop was me like discovering the course. And there was a lot of people on the course because the 10K people were all there with us. So it was a little bit crowded. It wasn't terrible, but definitely the most chaotic and the most filled loop of my entire experience there. And again, there was plenty of room for us on the trail, but it was just, and there was no backups or anything, which is great because a lot of the trail races that you run that have like a lot of single track, you end up pretty backed up because it's just a single file line. I was feeling good. We started out, I was definitely nervous. My stomach was already doing the weird bubbly thing that happens before I get like weird diarrhea, and I knew it was going to happen, so I just, again, we accounted for this. It's fine. I went into this knowing that this was probably going to happen, and it's okay. It's fine. We deal with it. And so we start running, and Andy and I are talking, and Andy is kind of a drifter and was kind of pushing me into the forest. I had to keep being like, come on, which I was lucky to have Andy the first round and not my last round. And so we had a really nice time talking. It was great to talk with Andy, and we finished up and I dropped him off at the start/finish point, and I was feeling like pretty fresh, pretty good, like 10K for my training. Like I was feeling good. I wasn't feeling haggard, which is great. Because if you run a distance that like that's like a typical distance for you, and then you feel like really cruddy, you know something is probably wrong. But I was feeling good. I came through the aid station. I saw Ben and Nicole, handed off my hat and my gloves to them because it was a little bit overkill. It was like 50 degrees. It kept like misting on us and raining a little bit back and forth. I probably could have kept the hat and the gloves, but I just didn't feel like it, you know. So I handed those off to Nicole. Ben waved and said, "I'll see you on the next round." And then it was pretty much just me and the other 50K and 30K people at that point. And I actually connected with two of the other ladies who ended up being the other two ladies who ended up podiuming with me about what they were doing. And it was funny because they were like, "What race are you training for?" And I was like, "This one." And they were like, "Oh, we're both training for 100 milers." And I was like, "I trained for this one." And just for everyone's reference, a 50K is 31.1-ish miles. I had some nice conversations with those two ladies, and then they ended up stopping at aid station. I kept going, kind of pulled ahead a little bit, which was great. Lost them a little bit. We were kind of jostling back and forth, and I was just zenning out into my zone with my music because I brought my headphones. I was trying to fall into a good flow. My whole thing with this race was just fall into whatever pace feels appropriate for you in that moment. Just like let your body kind of just like get into a flow and just follow that. So whatever feels like a good kind of like semi, at least effortless pace, let's fall into that. And I will say, and Ben made this comment too, and we know this about me, I was like hella consistent on my pacing for this entire time. Like I was like spot freaking on with my consistent pacing. But I'm known between the two of us, especially Ben and I, for being the metronome. So I can like hit a pace and I just keep hitting that pace, which is great. And so I just fell into a good pace, kind of just like having a nice time listening to my music because I knew I was picking up Ben on the next round. And so I'm still feeling good. I'm just like, I'm hitting a good stride. I can feel like my stomach is getting kind of bubbly. So I decided that when I get to the start finish point, I'm going to pop off and use the bathroom, which is literally right there. It was like 50 feet from where I went through, right next to the aid station. And everything was very conveniently located, which was fantastic. And so I pop off to the bathroom. Ben gets like ready to go. Ben is a great like running partner. You know, I like having Ben. It's a nice time. And so Ben's just like, "Yeah, whatever pace you want to go, we're going." And it was just us going through the first loop. The first loop was just me kind of like having Ben meet the course more or less. And I'm still feeling like pretty much good, which is great because we finished the third loop and I am on around like 18 miles, which is funny because the whole time Ben was looking at his watch and his phone being like, "Oh, we're at like 10 miles. I was like, "Yeah, you're at 10 miles, Ben. I'm not at 10 miles. And so we're just chitty chatting. We're having a nice time. My stomach is being like kind of funky. And this whole time I was just like in the moment. It was very interesting. And I put it at the front of this episode too. Ben got some audio of us like a little bit later. I believe it was on lap 5 where he asked me how I was feeling. And I like took a moment to like actually like introspectively look inside myself and like honestly ask myself how I was feeling in the moment. And like I was having GI issues at this point too. But this, again, we calculated this into the plan. It's fine. I was just feeling present. I was feeling present in the moment, and I was feeling just so thankful for everyone in my life, and just for the fact that I was able to be there doing that, and like hopefully completing a distance that I had never gone before. And like even when we got like halfway through the last lap, I was already way above what a normal marathon, well, not way above, at least like 28 miles, like 27, 28 miles. I was above what I've ever consecutively run ever in my life. So it was definitely just such a wonderful experience to be able to just be there and be present and be thankful for being there. But let's back up again. So we finished lap 3. Lap 3 is like largely uneventful. It started to rain on us a little bit. Ben and I are talking. We're having a nice time. Like my stomach is being gurgly. I kind of realized that I'm probably going to have to take at least one bathroom stop each lap. So I let Ben know. I'm like, hey, when we stop at the starting line, I'd like to use the bathroom. Ben was like, cool, great. And so I used the bathroom and we pop out. We saw Andy cheering. Andy did a great job cheering. Andy stuck around and cheered for us, which was fantastic. And that was just so wonderful. Get out of the bathroom and Ben and I take on lap 4. And lap 4 was fine. I could feel myself getting tired because this is when we hit the 20. When I felt myself getting tired, we hit around like 20 miles. And I audibly said out loud to Ben, because we were checking in with each other periodically and also just talking the entire time. And again, we will give a solid shout out to Benjamin Zamore and say that Ben and I unlocked a new level of like talkative friendship and such, which we've known each other about a year now. Again, feels like someone who I've known my entire life. But Ben was talking to me like beyond like an hour, which is fantastic. I love when Ben talks back and like talks to me. It's a nice time. And it's just not always the case. Half the time I'm monologuing, but it is definitely really nice that during this whole time, Ben was talking to me and we had the conversation with Nicole afterwards because Nicole was like, so how long did Julianna monologue to you? And Ben was like, well, I actually did talk to Julianna. I was like, he did indeed speak to me. He much spoke to me. And so I was very proud of Ben. And we were talking and I was kind of getting in like slightly just like our conversation was leading me in more of like a negative headspace on my own accord. Like I was just kind of like venting about shit and not trying to be negative, but just like literally letting whatever thoughts were come to me. And I just kind of got into like a little bit of a negative, just like crevice of musing thoughts that I was going through. And Ben was like, you know what? The rule for the next lap is we're going to be introspective and we're going to be positive, and I'm going to ask you some questions. I was like, great. And this entire time, Ben was taking pictures and videos of me, and Nicole was taking pictures and videos of me. And like, honestly, my love language is capturing candid videos and pictures of me. If you capture candid videos and pictures of me, I absolutely love that. This is why I love when I'm at races and I'm announcing races, people take pictures of me or I'm in the back of people's pictures. I just love getting pictures of me in action when I don't have to pose for things. And it's just me authentically like living my best life and just like being my best self. And Ben was doing that. And some of you have probably seen some of the videos that I put on the Instagram shorts and the YouTube shorts. So go ahead and check out the YouTube shorts if you haven't already. And I'll probably put some of them in here at some point. Ben and Nicole were speaking my love language. They were capturing pictures and videos of me. Ben was taking a bunch of pictures and videos of me. And it was just like again, like I don't require that anyone comes with me. And if someone does and they're able to capture things like that, that is such an added bonus for me that really just ramps up the experience. And it just makes it so much more of a positive experience when I can have those positive interactions. And also when I can bring these pictures and these videos and these memories home with me in a way that I can share with other people that are close to me and also look back for myself. So that was just such a wonderful thing. So thank you, Ben and Nicole, for doing that. We love you very much. Yeah, Ben was capturing pictures and videos the whole time. And when we went into the 5th round, like the fifth lap, because I did 5 laps again of this 10K course. Everyone at the start and finish line was cheering for us very loud, which was great. I did take another bathroom stop and had another watery diarrhea stop. I will say I'm very efficient at that. Like I'm very efficient. This is a learned skill now at this point, my friends. And if you calculate it in, you're fine. It's okay. You just have to know that it's coming. Know your own body, And so we went into the 5th lap and Ben started like interviewing me. And we were talking about his jaunty Pegasus 49s or 41s or whatever they were. because Ben makes really like wild shoe choices. He was wearing a regular road Pegasus. Like, what the fuck, Ben? I mean, it's par for the course for Ben, but like, still. But he was capturing a lot of videos and asking me a lot of like introspective questions and gathering some videos that I could send along to loved ones. And it was just so nice to be asked those questions, because this is the point in the race. Like, lap 4, I was feeling kind of tired. I was feeling the fatigue set in. The end, I was feeling some of my caffeine that I took over like the mid lap 4 kind of kick in. And I didn't know how long that was going to last. And so we went into lap 5 and I was still feeling that a little bit, but a little bit more drained version of that. And I was just thinking to myself, I was just like, keep moving, Julianna. Keep moving, keep breathing, keep moving. Like, talk to Ben. And when Ben wasn't talking to me, I was talking to myself. He's like, are you rambling to yourself? I was like, I am rambling to myself. He's like, okay, just checking in. I was like, uh-huh. Lap 5, I was really starting to feel kind of tired. Like, nothing was really hurting outside what it normally hurts like. Like, my hips just kind of periodically get achy because I have hip dysplasia and Ehlers-Danlos and also ankylosing spondylitis. So, like, that's kind of a baseline. But honestly, when I stand up from this couch, I'm going to be in more pain than I was finishing this ultramarathon. I guarantee you. And the sitting is so much worse than running for me, and standing. Jesus Christ, it's so bad. I was feeling just kind of achy overall. I was glad that this was not on all roads because my feet were starting to hurt a little bit, which doesn't ever happen. But again, going into the last lap, we were already at like 24 miles. So the last lap was going to like tick us off into, most of it was going to be in ultramarathon territory for me specifically, and just like logistically speaking, because an ultramarathon is anything over 26.2 miles. We went into that and I was just getting kind of tired. Ben kept up the energy. Ben could tell that I was fading a little bit, started talking more and capturing some videos, getting me engaged. And we were just like laughing and having a nice time and being like, okay, we only got like 3 miles left. How are you feeling? What's going on? And like I said, in these moments, I was just feeling so present and so thankful and happy to be there. Just like so happy and joyful that like I was able to do this. Like, I was able to run this distance, which is something that for such a long time I had kind of thought about doing, but not actually taken action on. And then I was doing this, like, I've never had a more consistent running buddy in my entire life. And I'm so thankful to have Ben. And I was doing this with like my best running buddy, Benjamin, and we were having a nice time. We were both like laughing and joking, and it was great just to have him there, also taking pictures and stuff too, and have Nicole there who was taking pictures and cheering us on and made me custom signs, which was so nice. And then we had Andy who was there, who stuck around the entire time to run the 10K and then just to cheer me on, and then also took pictures of the finisher ceremony at the end, which we'll get to. But I just felt so, and I have some family members who have been supporting me this entire time, which has been so nice. And like, I brought Chewy with me, and Chewy was hanging out in the car, and I just felt so loved and supported. I got so many messages. My friend Tasha, who's run so many ultras, Tasha is such a badass. You've met her already on here, and go back and watch Tasha's episode. But she sent me this beautiful video message before my ultra, and so many people were like so positive about this whole experience and we're like, Julianna, you got this. You've been training so hard, like you can do it. And I just carried that energy with me. And I just feel, like I said, no one owes me anything. Running doesn't owe me anything. No one needs to be kind to me. It's not required. And anyone who is, and authentically is so, and genuinely means it, I just am so thankful for that. And I was just carrying that energy of gratitude with me and just being present and being thankful and being there in the moment, being with Benjamin and just having a nice time finishing it up. It was just tiring and invigorating all at the same point. I was able to push myself and show myself that I can do hard things, and that like there's so much more inside of me, and that I really do, like, I've known for a while that I like endurance, like long distance endurance training, and just to prove to myself that like I'm not crazy and delusional, at least on that front, and that this is something that my body can do. And especially as someone who has so many chronic illnesses, to be able to prove to myself and to other people who have chronic illnesses that we can do things, we can do hard things, and to not let what's going on with your body stop you from doing the things that you want to do. Yeah, you might have to put in some extra gym sessions or go to massage or go to acupuncture or have to like mix things up or be prepared for liquid diarrhea. You know, we did take an emergency liquid diarrhea stop halfway through the 5th lap. And I was like, emergency poop stop. And Ben was like, okay, I'll go ahead a little bit and you find a bush. I was like, okay, great. And it was like very efficient. It took me like 20 seconds. I was like, we're good. Emergency poop stop. Proving to yourself that you can do hard things. You can do hard things. And hopefully somebody out there sees this, relates to either having Ehlers-Danlos or ankylosing spondylitis or irritable bowel disease or Raynaud's even, or like just ADHD maybe, or dyslexia. Someone sees that and sees like, hey, this bitch over here, she can do that. So why can't I do that? Because you can. You can. You can do hard things. We can all do hard things. And I have nothing going for me. There's nothing in my DNA or in my just innate abilities or gifts or whatever that I should be able to do this. Like nothing on paper, absolutely nothing on paper says that I should be able to do this, but yet I did. And so here we are. And I was just so thankful to be able to finish. And the nice thing is when I finished, I was like, I probably could have done another lap if I needed to. I didn't feel dead. I didn't feel like I was like on my last legs. I finished and I walked around. I actually felt like mostly okay. I went for a run this morning. Today is the day after the ultra when I'm recording this. And I went for a run this morning. I also announced a race this morning. The Women Run Cape Cod 5K here in Falmouth, Massachusetts. You should come run it next year. It's a lot of fun. I announced the finish line. We had Mary, who is the race director of that, on this show already. So come run it next year. I did all that. And I felt okay. I just know my training was correct. And I'm really thankful to be able to do all that training and that recovery and things like that, like the acupuncture and like the massage and things like that. But it's just, I just felt so thankful and so grateful and so loved. And I have the finish line video from both Ben was behind me and Nicole in front of me. And it's just, I have the best friends. I have so many wonderful friends. And it was funny because, as you might have guessed already, I did come in first for the ladies. We didn't know this. Ben and I had the conversation when we were on the trail of, he was like, I think you're in third. I was like, I think I'm in first. He's like, no, I think you're in third. I saw people pass you. I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I definitely saw people pass you. I was like, I mean, okay, you were there watching people cross through the finish and start line. I wasn't. So I'll trust your opinion and your thoughts and your feelings, you know? And we crossed and I was like, well, what place was I? Because I think I was top 3, but I'm not sure. And they're like, oh, yeah, you were first. I was like, oh, okay, suck it, Ben. I was first, you know? And I finished in about like a little, Strava says 4:55. The clock time said 5:02. So we'll, it's 5 minutes and 5 hours and 2 seconds. 2 minutes, sorry. We'll go off the clock time. It's fine. So we'll say total elapsed time was 5 hours and 2 minutes. Total, it took me to do about 31.1 miles, which honestly is a very respectable 50K time for my very first 50K as well too. So I'm very happy with that time. I mean, it's not dependent on the time and I just wanted to finish. And like I said, I was just falling into a good pace. I literally looked at my watch, I think like 4 times the entire time. I had no idea what pace I was going at. I'm just happy to finish, but it's just such an added bonus that I was able to podium, you know, it's a nice time and that I was able to come in first. So super surprised but also happy with that. And I finished and I changed into clothes because the word of the day was moist. It was very moist. It had rained the whole, like downpoured the whole day before. The whole course was just like at least slightly a mud pit, but it worked. I surprisingly did not get any blisters, probably because I wore my merino wool socks and I Vaselined my toes like I normally do. But I did not get a single fucking blister, and I was stepping through water and puddles the entire freaking time. Our shoe of choice was the Puma DV8 Nitro 2, which I think was the correct choice because it was like a mix of like harder surfaces like concrete and like trails. So I think if I went with the Ultra Lone Peak, which I was thinking about and did bring with me, I brought a backup pair of shoes and many backup pairs of socks just in case, you know, I think that would have been the wrong choice. So the Puma DV8 Nitro 2, I think was the correct choice and it went well. And so I was walking around afterwards and I was like, I actually feel like weirdly okay. and weirdly fine. And like, I didn't run as far as I think I did. Ben was like, that's good. That means you're trained properly. I was like, cool. We wrapped it up, and Ben and Nicole went home, and we love Ben and Nicole. We love them very much. Yay. Thank you both for showing up. Very much so appreciate you. Andy stuck around, and Andy took some lovely pictures of me getting my stump trophy. And I actually posed with our friend Chewy over here too, which is great. Then we parted ways and I went home and did my laundry and went about my day. And here we are. I already started looking at other ultra marathons that I could run in the fall. Hi, Julianna here. Hello, friends. I had a great time. I had an absolutely fabulous time. I understand that this race experience and also this race style and training style is not for everyone, and I totally get it. For me, it was one of those experiences like from Riley from Inside Out, where this was a core experience for me. This is something and a day that's going to live rent-free and shape who I am as a person for the rest of my life. I know this already. I feel so lucky to have so many amazing people to share this with. Not only like Ben and Nicole and also now Andy, which is great. So many of my other friends who are just like proud of me. And like even when I was at the 5K this morning, a bunch of people came up to me to congratulate me, which was so nice because they don't have to do that. And they're like, you ran and won the 50K yesterday, didn't you? I was like, yeah, I did. They're like, that's great. I was like, thank you. Again, people don't have to say nice things about me or to me, but it's nice when they do, you know? It's just, the biggest thing is I'm proud of myself. And I learned this on my first marathon, that the only person you have to impress is yourself. And I impressed myself. And I was just so elated to be able to share this with Ben, like while we were running, with Nicole afterwards, with Andy while we were running and afterwards and stuff too. So it's just, I feel such a sense of joy in the whole experience and the day, and also in the training too. I've connected with so many wonderful people, gotten to go running with so many wonderful people, take on things I never thought I would do, like trail running wise, shoe wise, training wise, distance wise, terrain wise. I feel like I've just unlocked so many different levels and dealt with my fear of falling and things like that, which I will say, let's put this on record right here, right now. I did not fall at all the entire time. Thank you so much for asking. I did not fall. Ben almost ate shit at least twice. Like almost like really close to eating shit at least twice. And I didn't even come close to that at all. So thank you so much. He might be the more experienced trail runner, but I was the winner of the not eating shit on the trails contest that happened yesterday. You know, I was very proud of myself. And it was very funny because both of the times, at least twice, it might have been 3 times, that he almost ate shit, I was running behind him. I was like, I watched him all, and we laughed about it afterwards. But one of the times he almost like starfished down onto the ground, and it was quite comical. I was just like, so love you, Ben. But yeah, so it was just, I just feel a sense of joy and a sense of accomplishment and a sense of thankfulness and just a sense of happiness in the entire experience, in the entire day, and a sense of community. I mean, the race itself was great. I would highly recommend that you go run the Watuppa 50K just because it is a well-run race. It's a great course and it's a fabulous way to introduce yourself to trails. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Ben and I might be coming back to run it again next year and bring Finn the dog with us too. So that could be fun. Yeah, that's my 50K race experience. And I had a fantastic time. I'm so proud of myself. And I would like to continue to do ultra marathons. So stay tuned for more of that. And thank you again to everyone for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends. Don't forget to comment below if you have run an ultra marathon or you found something about this video that resonated with you. I would love to hear from you. But we will see you on the next episode of Runna. And have a fabulous week, my friends. We need to come out with an outro for this. I don't have one. What do you think, Chewy? Chewy says, nom 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 nom. Thank you for listening to this episode of Runna. This podcast is edited, hosted, and produced by me, Julianna Coughlin. Brought to you in part by the Falmouth Running Club and the Falmouth Community TV station. If you'd like to connect with us, you can find us on Instagram and on TikTok at RunnaPod. And you can send us an email at runnapod@gmail.com. And our original theme music was brought to you by the one and the only wonderful Jeffrey Hutton. And keep up the great work. I'm proud of you.
What would you say your dominant emotions are right now?
My dominant emotions are present.
Well,
like
flow.
I'm just here.
That's fantastic.
Like I feel like I have like a little bit of like biting anxiety of like wanting to finish.
Yeah.
But also just being thankful that I've even been able to get this far.
Yeah.
Just because like, you know, running owes you nothing. My body is janky as all fuck. And it owes me nothing. So just being able to be here. And I just feel very lucky too, because like I have you, Ben, and like Nicole's here.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah.
Your friend
like,
Andy.
My friend Andy.
Making an appearance.
Uncle Paul is probably
Awesome
worried because I handed off my phone to Liz. Nicole, and I'm not moving anymore according to the phone. Oops, the daisies.
Well, when he starts frantically calling, she can pick up and assure him of continued survival.
That I am alive, just not with phone currently. Yeah, I mean, like I'm always thankful for like anytime anyone like comes out to support me. Like I said, like no one has to, but it's nice when they do.
Right.
Like I don't want anyone to feel like it's required. But if you want to come out and you feel like it's going to be a nice time, then more power to you, you know? I'm just here, doing my thing. Thankfully, you'll do this. Waiting for you to send me a text message later that says, would you like to sign up for this 100-mile race? And me to be like, I don't know, Ben.
Is this the first you've ever run?
Yeah, this is the first I've ever run consecutively. I've never pushed my body to the point before, physically. I don't feel underprepared, though. Like, I feel like I trained pretty well. So, like, nothing that's happening now, even though technically where are we at? We're at 27.44. Like, I'm in an unknown zone right now, but it don't really feel unknown. I think because I just put in the correct amount of, well, at least enough, right? You know?